I've stopped, well, pretty much, mostly, asking God the question, why, Lord? Why is this happening? Why? I've stopped pretty much asking that question, and I'll explain to you why I've stopped asking why. Um, it's pretty much because when you're asking that question of God, you're assuming that you can actually understand the reasons why. So this also goes back to that verse that God's thoughts are higher than our thoughts. His ways are way higher than our ways. So if God did explain the why to you, would you even understand? And most of the times, I don't think so. Maybe sometimes God might be kind and gracious and give us a very simplified why this is happening. But I think most of the time, we just have to trust in God and His character and know that it doesn't matter why. It's like, okay, God, what is your will for me in this situation? And lead me and guide me and trust that He will, no good thing will He withhold from those who walk uprightly. Romans 8:28. So the other reason why I think I've stopped asking that question a bit more these days is because we've just been going through Job. And this really stood out to me so strongly in Job. And so Job's been saying lots of things, and his friends have been saying crazier things, particularly about Job. They just totally don't get it. But then Job is talking to the Lord all the time and saying, asking God why he's being so unjust, why he's being cruel, and why he's punishing him, and all this sort of stuff. Because he just doesn't get it. And then God comes back and says this in chapter 38 of Job. It says, "Then the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind and said, Who is this who darkens counsel by words without knowledge?" In other words, ignorant words. "Now prepare yourself like a man. I will question you, and you will answer me." And then he asks one question. And as far as I'm concerned, after this one question, that's a complete KO. Job is toast. He's gone, right? "Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth?" Game over. Game, set, and match to the Lord. It's like a complete no-brainer. You know, we don't even have an understanding of our world. Even today, with all the science and technology that we have, we still don't understand a lot about our ocean. Never mind, we have really not a lot of clues about what goes on between our ears, and our brain. There's so many unexplored areas. There's so many things we're thoroughly ignorant of. So whenever God says, "Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth?" I mean, to me, that just beautifully encapsulates everything between God, who's infinite and outside of time and space and matter, was before all of those things, and us. We're just like we're not even, compared to God, we're not even a speck. We're not even existent. It's just so, and it always, sometimes, most of the time it makes me sad, but sometimes it makes me laugh at how arrogant people are and how they think that they can judge God. Goodness me, it's just ludicrous to the greatest extent. Then I love how God uses a little bit of sarcasm here too. And then it says, "Tell me, if you have understanding, who determined its measurements? I don't even know what they are now. Surely you know. Or who stretched the line upon it? To what were its foundations fastened? Or who laid its cornerstone? Does the earth have a cornerstone? I didn't even know that. And then, when the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy. I can't even comprehend that. Or who shut in the seas with doors, when it burst forth and issued from the womb, when I made the clouds its garment, and thick darkness its swaddling band? Seriously, I mean, it's like... And then God goes on, talks about the stars and the constellations, and also then he talks about, can you even tame a wild ox? Look, just some little simple thing. Can you even tame a wild ox? I mean, come on. We can't number the hairs on our head. We just don't. Compared to God, we are so nothing. And yet, we are made in God's image. And because of that, only because of that, we are special in his sight. And because of that, and this is also an important point, Jesus was sent to redeem mankind because we are made in the image of God and because God wants fellowship with us. Yeah, so that's a huge thing. Anyway, thanks so much for your time. I'm not sure what you think about that, but that's pretty much why I've stopped asking why of the Lord. I just can't. Even if he answered me, it's like, okay, that's just a little part of the picture, isn't it, Lord? You go, yeah, Rich, but that's enough for you, okay? Totally get it. Lead on. Thanks, guys. Bye.